freaking Rollins cashing in his money in the bank, becoming a two-time world heavyweight champion. Look at this disgusting image. Look at this. Ugh, that traitor. My former wise man, Paul Heyman. This guy, get him off the island. Hugging Seth Rollins like it's a prom date. Like, what is this? Ugh, I can't look at this picture anymore. It's disgusting. But Seth Rollins had the ruse of the century and cashed in his money in the bank. He got injured at Saturday night's main event. And a lot of people were speculating it was a work because WWE was kind of hum-ho about this. Like, they were just a little bit hum-ho about this. They were just like, is he hurt? Is he not? And also, too, they showed us the injury multiple times. Normally, when an injury happens, they don't show us it multiple times. They just kind of let it happen, and us as fans are supposed to be like, oh yeah, wrestler got hurt during match. This stuff, like, even though it's a performance, it does cause injuries. Injuries can happen at any time. Please do not try this at home. They don't showcase these injuries because they're trying to always tell people this is not as fake as you think. This hurts. Please do not do this at home because you could also tear your ACL. But they were showing us this injury a lot. So a lot of people were saying, yeah, Seth is not hurt. Seth is fine. And a lot of people predicted correctly that Seth was going to cash in and become the world heavyweight champion against CM Punk. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just being dead honest when I say this. Seth Rollins as world champion is one of the worst things that you could ever do for your company. I'm just being honest when I say this. I like Seth. I feel Seth is a great marquee match guy. You want a marquee match on pay-per-view, you put a wrestler with Seth freaking Rollins because you know that match will deliver. But when Seth is world champion, something about the product, something about the show itself, I just lose interest. Like this reign, I don't know, it's just going to feel like his 2015 reign all over again, except he's not going to be like, where's my statue? He's not going to be asking for a statue. He's just going to be the world heavyweight champion, talk about the vision, talk about how he's the greatest and all this other stuff. And oh my God, it's like I was so hoping on Raw last night. I was really hoping. I was like, man, I hope LA Knight win the title. I was really hoping. I was just like, please, LA Knight win the championship. Because Seth Rollins as the world champion, I don't know. It's just something about it. Like let's break down Seth's title reigns. His first title reign, he really felt like not even like the champion. He just kind of felt like a placeholder because they weren't confident in Roman Reigns at that time. They didn't want to give it to John again. So they were going to try to push the new star in Seth Rollins, but he was mostly a background character. He had J&J security helping him out every single freaking match. And his best feud was Sting. And it was because of the wear my statue stuff. And the reign ends because Seth gets injured at a house show when he was wrestling Kane. His second reign was just a quick fix reign, so that way they can just give it to Jon Moxley. His third reign is when he won the Rumble, beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35, and during that reign as Universal Champion, he straight up, he was just the man's man. He was just Becky Lynch. He was sidekick to his wife during that reign. He did not feel like the guy of the company. He won the biggest belt that the company was trying to push because remember, the Universal title, they were trying to make that the main title because of the whole term, the WWE Universe. He did not feel like, oh man, this guy's our world champion. He ends up losing to Brock via the cash-in, beats Brock at SummerSlam, and then during this whole time, no one wanted freaking Seth as champion at that point. They wanted Oogly Boogly, the Fiend. And the Fiend was cool. He had his Firefly Funhouse, the pig, Wambling Rabbit, whatever the frick he had. He had all that junk. And then they have one of the worst Hell in a Cell matches ever. And then he loses to the Fiend at one of the Saudi shows. Can't remember the name. All those names blend together. Have you guys ever like gotten your Saudi wrestling shows confused? You could tell me something happened on the same Saudi show, and I would just believe you because they just blend together. They just blend together. But Seth as champion, I just feel like his reigns are just so dull and boring. And then especially his first reign as the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion, the current belt he has now. It was just like Seth was World Heavyweight Champion. But it was like the whole idea was that, hey, Seth will be World Champion, but we're going to put him in a lot of fresh matchups that matches that we haven't really seen. And during that whole reign, it just felt so lackluster. He didn't even feel that big. Like, it didn't help either that Cody pretty much was just like, I don't want that title. I want Roman's title. So he didn't even get a match with Cody out of it. It was just like Seth. Like, at that time, I was calling Raw the mid card mafia. It was just straight up a bunch of mid card wrestlers being like, Seth, I want your title. That was pretty much what was going on at that time. It was just like, wait, Finn's not even heated up at all, and now he's going for the title. And then Finn heated up, and fans, even then, were just like, hey, man, I think Finn should become world champ. I think Finn should be the champ. People were pushing for Finn Balor, Yahoo, to become the world champion. And then Seth won, and people were upset. And then we had Seth, just go on and go on. And because, like, at the time, he was the world champion, yes, but he didn't feel like the biggest star on the show. Cody felt like the biggest star. And Cody was mostly just being a tag team champion with main event Jey Uso, feuding with the Judgment Day. Damian Priest was Money in the Bank. And to draw interest, it was like every other week Damian Priest was thinking about cashing in. Oh, he might cash in this week. And it didn't take until WrestleMania for him to cash in. So it was just this whole Seth Rollins theme with Seth Rollins as champion. It's just not interesting. And I just don't see how this reign is going to be interesting. He's going to have the feud with Punk that's never ending. The LA Knight thing is just a filler feud. People are saying, oh, what if he drops to Sami Zayn? Sami Zayn, who was like feuding with Seth early on this year, just totally forgot about him just because Sheamus and Rusev bumped into him backstage on Raw last night. So it seems like Sami Zayn doesn't care. Jey Uso, we've seen that match a couple of times. One time as him as the babyface world champion, and the Raw after Mania, or not the Raw after Mania, a couple Raws after Mania, he took on Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title. Like, we've seen that before. It's just like, and people are having this idea that it's like, oh, well, Braun Breaker, that's who's gonna take the belt off Seth. Guys, like, how long have you been watching the Triple H era of WWE? Triple H literally pulls the trigger mad late on everything. When it comes to pulling the trigger, Triple H pulls the trigger mad late on everything. That's just how it is. Finn and Damian should have had a turn with the Judgment Day months ago, and they waited until like SummerSlam 2024 for that to happen. Look at Liv and Rhea. They were in a never-ending feud. I'd be shocked. I hope I'm wrong, too. I love being wrong. But I'd be shocked if at WrestleMania 41, they went with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I'd be shocked. I'd be literally sitting here being like, what? Or 42, I should say. Sorry, they're both in Vegas. They blend together. But I'd be shocked. I legit would be shocked. I would literally be like, huh, did he really go with that? He's going with Braun Breaker at 42? I'm not confident that he's going to go with Braun Breaker at 42. I'm really not that confident. And I'm not even confident in telling you that it's going to be Roman Reigns to beat Seth Rollins, because I don't even think Roman Reigns wants that belt. So Seth as world champion, I don't know. I'm just somewhere where I'm just like, And Peter Holmes says it here. We want Punk as world champion. CM Punk, this is one of his good, healthy years. And you're not putting the belt on him. You're not making him the world heavyweight champion. Just very interesting. Very, very interesting. You should want Punk as your world champion. Punk is one of your biggest stars. Why wouldn't you make him the world heavyweight champion? I don't know. Just very interesting stuff to me. Chief says, last night's Raw, I was over with Seth, boring champion, same promo every week. Yeah, I know, J-Mac. Heyman does love backstabbing people. It's just sad. It's just sad. They always do this when a wrestler's champ. Go back to Backlund and Brett Wrestling in America. It always will be built on promos and angles, not matches. It's why the build to party was so big. Yep, exactly. Really, they're definitely going breaker. It's literally going to be Batista versus Triple H. I don't think it's going to happen next year, though. I want it to happen next year, but I just feel Triple H is going to extend it longer than it needs to be.